Hi everybody, so let's talk about why so many churches are live streaming. In fact, I was reading a little earlier today that it's considered the digital age of worship. We're in 2017 right now, and let's talk about why so many people are live streaming, so many houses of worship are live streaming, and some of the initial objections that some of the congregational people have had. And then I have a testimonial from a church that we met. We're going to talk with Jason from Northwoods Church, who considers himself a power streamer now, and he's been doing it for 3 years. So first of all, the main question is, does it take people out of the pew? You know, if people are going to be live streaming, if churches are going to be live streaming, are people going to be less engaged, less inclined to come back to the church and actually fill up those pews? And here's a couple of the things that Jason said. So first of all, did you know that 33 people say that the internet was the first place where they learned about their church? So people, a third of all churchgoers found out about their church online in some way. So we're living in a digital world. We need to accept that. In 2015, this is Monk Development said that worship has gone digital. In 2015, 3,000 houses of worship in 57 countries used live stream to broadcast 121,000 services, ceremonies, and meetings. That's just live stream, the platform, which is a great platform. 46% of church attendees say that the church websites is an important decision that they make when choosing a church, and 64% say the church website is important in facilitating the participation in the church. 33% say it was the first place they learned about the church. We mentioned that. In 2003, faith-based organizations have seen the greatest increase in online giving, and churches increased donations by 6 times through a custom donation page. So if you've experienced that, you can understand why people are calling this the digital age for church worship. And there's a serious benefit to live streaming. The stats are clear. So check out your online campus before people are checking out the online campus, quote unquote, before actually coming to church. So I'm going to play a testimonial from Jason from Northwest Community Church, who was at WFX Show in 2016, who we interview. It's just a 3-minute interview. I might jump in at times because the audio is not amazing. We filmed it on an iPhone, but let's listen to what Jason has to say. How you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
So we're live streaming on YouTube here, and
Awesome.
we thought it might be a good idea to ask someone who actually uses the technology what the show's like and what you're most excited about.
Sure. So, Church Streaming TV is a great partner for us. The support's amazing and really has provided a great product for us. We were rolling our own Wowza instance, any Amazon by ourselves, and it worked for a while, but it just became cost prohibitive for us for the bandwidth, and we got tired of supporting it on our own. And really, we were looking for a reliable partner that we can just hop on with and collaborate with. And we found the Church Streaming team to be a great resource for us. There's a lot of people in the space, and finding the right partners is an important part of that. For us, that's been the Church Streaming team.
So Jason, tell us a little bit about where you're from, the size of your church, and how when did you start streaming? Is this new? Have you been doing it for a long time?
Sure. So I'm with Northwest Community Church in Peoria, Illinois. We have campuses in Galesburg and Chillicothe and Princeton, Illinois as well. And we've been doing online streaming for about 3 years. The first 8 months of that were a beta test, and it was a closed group. But then once we started rolling with it, got the audio and videos sorted out and figured out, opened that up to the public. We see about 1,000 people join us on per weekend and on Northwoods.online, and we use the church streaming platform, and then we embed the video link from the churchstreaming.tv in the church online platform, the free product that Life.Church gives away.
So thank you so much for being here. I have one other question I want to ask you, and this is something I've heard a lot about. A lot of churches who don't do live streaming, they worry that live streaming is going to keep people from actually coming to church. Is there any truth to that?
I don't think there is. At the end of the day, we've had this conversation with our leadership. I represent Northwoods at the online campus pastor now. And we've had that conversation with senior leadership, just talking about, does this take people out of the pew and cause them to want to stay home? And for some, it probably does. But the large majority of our online attendees are people, mom and dads, who stayed up all night with their brand new baby and they're not going to make it to church. It's the senior citizens who can't make it to church through the weather, or it's folks who are traveling to the ball game with their son or daughter, and they're in the hotel and they're wanting to connect to church, but they're away for the weekend. We see that on average, our congregation really attends in the room once a month. And before we were doing live streaming, we wouldn't see those people for 3 weekends a month, for 3 weekends during the month. And now we find that people are staying connected between the weekends that they're actually on campus. And so you could say that there's some competition to, do I want to stay home and watch online or not, or do I want to make it to the campus? But part of that's the community and the collaboration that's happening on campus. You know, the church isn't the destination, the building. It's being connected with others through community. And, you know, we're doing a little bit of that online, but at the end of the day, the computer screen is not the destination. And we encourage our folks to stay connected in the community in one way or another.
So I think the takeaway there is that the computer screen is not the destination. You know, Jason has been streaming to over 1,000 viewers, and not only just on Sundays, but even in between the week when people want to stay engaged. And it's been a huge growth. There's so many people participating in this, and it's I think that was just a great way to look at this, and that's kind of the foundation that we're going to build on. So we're going to say yes. Streaming is going to help us build our congregation, reach people who can't make it to church, be more engaging, and actually bring more people in, and of course increase donations through a custom online landing page. That we're going to leave be. I want you to think about that. It's different for every church. But now let's go into choosing the best software and hardware, which is what I'm really a professional in. That's where my expertise comes from. But I wanted to share that, and maybe along this course we'll share a couple more interviews from the WFX show. I mentioned that it was in Louisville, Kentucky. This year it's going to be in Dallas, Texas. You can always see our company there and kind of come out and meet us and shake our hands. But let's move on to the next part of this presentation, which will be software and choosing the best software for your company.
Click to watch another exciting PTZOptics video, and don't forget to subscribe. Tune in Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern to join our live show with new industry experts interviewed every week.